My dear fellow pilgrims, I remember returning my campus ID to my pocket. I wanted to make sure it wasn't visible, so the security attendant would have to ask me for it. Justice, I felt, demanded it. A few minutes earlier, a friend of mine, Andrew, was trying to explain to me the difficulties of being black in America. We were students at Marquette University living in Mashuda Hall, an upperclassman residence on the far west edge of campus. I didn't know Andrew as well as I would have liked. We had only recently started to form a friendship, but he was a brilliant guy with a quiet, reserved demeanor, the sort of still waters that run deep. I was finding it difficult to relate to what he was telling me, so he decided to show me. It is now burnished in my memory and changed the way I see things. Steve, he said, I want you to watch what happens. He was very deliberate as he was explaining this to me. You've been living in this building for 3 months. This is my second year. It's been the same front desk staff. They haven't changed. When you walk in, they'll simply wave you through, but when I walk in, they'll stop me and ask to see my ID. No way, I protested. They'll either check both of us or they'll check neither of us. I wanted this to be true. I so wanted this to be true, and I think I believed it was true. Andrew and I were very similar in build, which is to say we were both thin, kind of nerdy, and entirely unintimidating. But he was a much tidier person and a sharper dresser. Clearly, I thought, he looked more credible than I did. If they recognize me, they'll certainly recognize you, I said. Sure, they recognize me. They've checked my ID nearly every day for the past year. They know I live here, they know I'm a student here, but it doesn't matter, he said. That's my point. They're white, and I'm black. So they'll stop me and they'll check me again. It's what they do. As we approached the security desk, I made sure we were walking side by side, actively involved in conversation, so it would be obvious to the security personnel that we were friends, that we had entered the building together. I wanted to give them every reason to treat us alike and eliminate every excuse not to. On cue, just as Andrew had predicted, they waved me through without asking for my ID, but stopped Andrew and asked for his. I felt sad, I felt disappointed, and I certainly felt embarrassed. I'm sorry, dude, I said. I'm sorry that just happened. That's a little thing, Andrew said, but try to imagine what that's like all day, every day. Anywhere I go, everywhere I go, I get treated differently than you do. I get watched and followed around stores. I get detained by security everywhere, and I'm asked to justify why I'm there. It happens all the time. Unfortunately, I lost track of Andrew after I left Marquette, but I think of him often and remember that afternoon vividly. It still saddens me, and it especially distresses me that I witnessed this at a Catholic university. People can attack the Catholic Church for a lot of reasons, but I so deeply value the unwavering Catholic belief that the sacred dignity of all God's people, from preborn to post-death, regardless of language or ethnicity, even setting aside sins and transgressions, our Catholic faith teaches that each and every person has been created in the image and likeness of God. What an incredibly inclusive God. Consider for a moment the makeup of the Roman Catholic Church worldwide. About 32% white, 40% Latino, 16% black, 12% Asian. Within the past few years in America, we have seen very overt systemic racism against the Latino, black, and Asian populations. How do we respond to this? As Catholics, what kind of conversations should we be having with our children and our grandchildren? May I suggest that we start at the beginning with the very foundational belief that each and every person is created in God's own image and likeness and is imbued with sacred dignity and value. All God's people, all the time. No exceptions, not one. Journey well and pray always. Peace.